Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Ender L and I'm going to be casting today with Octavian. We're bringing you a match between Not Safe for Ward and Team Doesn't Care. Blue side, red side, in that respective order. Octavian, it's been a while. How you doing? Oh, the kids and wife, they're just a figment of my imagination right now. But if anyone in chat is looking for, a long-term commitment, long-term relationship, I am here for you guys. Yeah, these are all champs that have really seen a lot of popularity at Worlds. I mean, even Misfortune yesterday being picked as a support counter to Zyra. Now, I believe Started Guardian Lulu is actually a Misfortune AD carry player, so we're not going to see that in the support role today. Maybe in our next match after that, we'll see that not get banned away, picked up AD carry or whatnot. But already with the very early Trundle lock-in, that's actually been picked up as a support for Pimlico down there in the bottom lane, but obviously a lot of flex potential there, so not showing all that much with that first lock-in. Yeah, already picking up those gigantic beefy frontliners for Team Doesn't Care. A lot of long range initiation there too with the elastic slingshot and that ultimate coming out from Malphite. So they're going to be able to jump on the backline of Not Safe for Ward from any distance really. So I expect to see maybe some, longer range, something like a Caitlyn or maybe an Ashe coming through for the AD carry. Just stuff that can really stay safe up against that beefy front line from TDC. Right, I do think the Caitlyn would work very well. They're obviously saving that pick for a little bit later. Already going with the Orianna as well as that Nautilus. The Nautilus something a pick that's kind of fallen out of favor for a lot of pro teams, even in solo queue, not getting picked up all that much. But again, that's a champion that can flex around very heavily, just like this Trundle. And we're just gonna have to wait and see what Not Safe for Ward really want to go with here, because honestly they could flex those around just as much as they want to, as both those could go top or support. I even see a world where we see one of those getting picked up in the jungle. Anything is possible over in these leagues. And the less known picks, the more niche picks like the Nautilus and maybe a Trundle in the jungle, something like that. Even though we may not see that, and we'll get to the Zyra pick in just a second, it always kind of throws the enemy team for a loop, because if you're not used to playing against a certain champion, just like yesterday with that support Misfortune, you don't necessarily respect it as much as you should to, and you can sometimes underestimate the damage or the tankiness that those specialty picks bring to the table. Right, and I'm a little bit worried for whatever the bottom lane for Not Safe for Ward is going to be, as they pick up the Sivir, and that Teemo may just be a placeholder, so let me go ahead and check that one out. Teemo is going to be a Darius for the top lane, so I'm going to assume Manster Truck is picking up the Nautilus in the jungle, and that'll be Trundle support. But no matter what Not Safe for Work is taking into that support role, Sivir and then a melee support, that's not much range whatsoever. And they're dealing against a very aggressive duo in the Lucian Zyra, which is going to be able to punish very hard. And if you've been following Worlds at all, it's all about the lane dominance in that 2 versus 2. That's why we see all these range supports coming to the table, like the Karma, the Nami, the Zyra. It's all about getting that early shove, getting that early level 2 to really push your advantage and find either kills in the lane, turret chip damage, or just pressure across the map down there. Right, they totally had the flexibility in their draft, and they end up going to the very last pick, picking the Darius, who into the Malphite. I have to imagine that can be pretty punishing because Darius just brings so much to the table, and apparently they can only hear me on stream, so it's an opposite of what happened to me the last time. I'm gonna try and figure out what's going on there because you should be able to be heard. Not quite sure what's going on. I don't understand. It says you're not muted on Discord or on OBS. Yeah, I can hear you, but OBS shouldn't be giving me an issue. Not quite sure. I'll try and figure this out. I seem to always have audio issues when I attempt to go for the casts. Just turn you up a whole lot. Alright, let me know if that's too loud, because it's really loud in my ears. Maybe it's my mic that's too loud. Who knows? Maybe it's just a combo plate. We'll have to wait and see. Go ahead and let me know, guys, how that's going. We'll try and get it figured out as best we can. But you do get to check out these team comps for a little bit longer. We have that extra delay, the 3-minute delay for the spectator, so we can start to break down some of the more interesting pickups in this match, specifically the Darius in the top lane as well as the Nautilus in the jungle. Both picks that you don't see all that much, and Valend, he's actually going to be picking up the Ghost in the top lane. He still has some time that he could switch that out, but I have to think that's a little bit questionable because there's a lot of crowd control over on the side of Team Doesn't Care, the Zac, the Malphite, the Zyra, and I think that being able to flash through one of those big AoE crowd control abilities is a lot more impactful than just being able to run around the map very fastly. Yeah, and to be fair, Script 2G is going to be able to build a lot of armor in that matchup. So, there might come a point when it'll be very hard for Darius to be able to cut through him. But again, Darius, he's going to struggle in those late game team fights. So, he's deciding to be able to punish this individual lane a little bit more and trade off team fighting, which he already knows he might be struggling a little bit in. The Juggernaut dilemma is that you get kited out very, very easily. That's what Riot's whole balancing idea behind them was when they were so strong at last year's Worlds Championships. Was that Darius, that first, week or two group stage play, he was very, very powerful, but then teams realized that all you have to do is kite back, keep your distance, and he doesn't have quite the high-level impact that you'd expect him to have.
I like the composition they've built up around the pick, though. They've got some really good, solid engage in the form of Nautilus, and then speed buffs to get the Darius in both in the Sivir ulti and Oriana's minor speed buff on her W. And that plus the ghost might be enough that he can just book into the backline of the enemy team
Yeah.
and do insane gold. Just spin his axe all over the place without having to flash. So, maybe we're in that one specific situation where it is the right choice to just stack speed buffs on speed buffs and get the Darius sped up to the back lines.
Right, we've seen a
They've got a
lot.
lot of heals. They've got Gravity Well. They've got everything that Syra has to offer. Lucian can sort of self-heal just with mobility, so that plan may not come to fruition, but it does look like they have a plan at the very least.
Right, I do like the speed buff sort of composition. There's no Lulu in there like we would have seen in the days of old. Lulu since falling very far out of favor for a lot of players, but a champion that doesn't really come up in this draft is the Karma, which I do think would fit very well with what they were attempting to do, at least, speed up that Darius in the team fights. But thankfully we're gonna get into game and see how these two teams really face off against each other, how this one ends up working out for the long haul. Once again, it's not safe reward on the blue side up against Team Doesn't Care, and I'm trying to resolve these audio issues we seem to be having.
I can just shout all the time.
Yes, I like that plan.
I'll just shout all the time into my microphone.
That's lovely. I appreciate it.
I think maybe we wouldn't have the best audio quality than either. But
You think?
yeah, hopefully we can resolve these quickly since I like to think that I add something to the cast.
I mean, just a little bit.
It may just be if you are using OBS, you can go into the OBS settings themselves and adjust the mic gain or the desktop gain.
Yeah, no, I'm
Maybe overpowering your mic gain, or the vice versa. Probably vice versa since
I've got the desktop gain all the way up, but
wow, that's
I'm really not sure what's going on. Hmm.
I must just be speaking with the voice of a mouse then.
You know what I think it might actually be? See, my desktop isn't muted, but apparently, like, OBS isn't picking it up, so I think they're actually hearing you through my headphones.
Wow.
So I'm just gonna put my head really close to the mic, and they're gonna. This is the high quality that we bring to you here at Learning Fives.
Oh man.
I promise it gets better than this.
Well, we're on to the rift. Presuming I can be heard.
Yep.
We're on to the rift, and we've got both teams all set up and ready to rumble. We could see a little one. We've got some champions that do pretty well early on, but it looks like both teams are just heading up for typical lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, just really fanning out. I don't expect to see too much action going on in these level ones. You really don't get to see that much anymore. Camp spawning sooner, and without the threat of a lane swap really happening, you don't have to go in for those deep wards, get that early vision to predict what the enemy is going to be doing as far as placement with their 2v2 lane. It's just all about getting out there and getting control in these individual lanes.
Alright, and we'll see where the two junglers choose to start off. It looks like both are going to be starting on the bottom side with the help of their supports. And got a keen eye put towards the top lane. We already went over it a good amount in the picks and bans, but Valende Stir has picked himself into a pretty darn favorable matchup. And from what I hear of these teams, he's a solid Darius player overall. No stranger to the champion, so it should be an interesting lane to watch.
Right, I believe it is his most played in in solo queue, that Darius. So he's definitely familiar on the champion. Has a lot of games on that. But what I'm most interested in really is tracking the pathing of these two junglers, because the Nautilus especially, you don't really see that all too often. Is he going to go for some sort of early ganks? He's got a lot of CC he can bring to the table, but then again, his level 6 ultimate, very powerful as well. We'll have to see what Monster Truck decides to go for here, because down bottom lane especially is very volatile. Team doesn't care. You already see getting that early shove on in. And, if they go untouched here, if Monster Truck just paths straight from bottom to top, Eloy and learning to support are going to be completely free to do what they want down here in this bottom lane.
Though Pimlicos doesn't seem to want to resign the lane so quickly. Right now, he's the level 1 Trundle. There's not really much he can do, but he's opted for an Ignite support here, so it looks like he's got a plan for an aggressive lane. We'll see whether or not that can work out for him.
Definitely very aggressive summoner to bring to the table there in that Ignite. They're just, I guess, looking for the all-in. Maybe that hints towards some early pressure from Manster, who is still down here on that bottom side, but not for long. And Wicked Flux actually got his level 3, and he's already moving up into this top side to go onto Valend.
Yeah, I think this is the right call from Wicked Flux. They knew that this Darius would be pushing up. There's the E coming in from the side. It lands, and there is no flash here, only the Ghost, but that will be enough to get him to safety. And actually, the Cell Division popped, but that may have been a little bit too greedy to turn around for that. Now Katso has to flash out in the mid lane, but the first blood comes down nonetheless. Cell Division will result. Wicked Flux coming back to life, but he loses his passive in trade for the Ghost.
Yeah, nothing really going there right for Team Doesn't Care. They lose the Cell Division up top lane. Wicked Flux, he tried to make a gank happen, but Script, he was backing up, and there was a huge minion wave about to crash underneath the tower, so definitely a big win for Valend. Lost his Ghost, but popped that Cell Division. At the same time, down in mid lane, Monster Truck, we were questioning what he was going to do in this early game. He absolutely made it work down there in the mid. Popped the flash from Katsuo, as well as picked up that first blood. So definite benefit to not safe for ward, as they're already jumping out to an early lead.
Yeah, and I mean, Monster Truck is just now getting his blue buff, so he's going to have plenty of mana moving forward. Still has quite a bit of health to work with. He could even show up somewhere else real quick after getting that first blood. Doesn't have to base at all just yet. We'll see where he goes with that. Meanwhile, Pimlico and Star Guardian Lulu are still feeling the pain down here. This is the only lane that so far is going rather well for Team Doesn't Care. Though not too well, honestly. They're holding their own in terms of the health advantage, but Star Guardian Lulu's done a great job of holding up in CS. He's only 4 or 5 behind at any given time.
And that's really his job, right? You pick the Sivir not to win the lane. You pick the Trundle not to win the lane. It's just farm up, play for those mid to late game fights, buff up Valend, who's gonna be pretty massive for your team. Put a lot of pressure on there, get that Orianna rolling. There's a lot of things that Not Safe for Ward needed to do, and they are doing them right now, as long as they don't, fall behind too hard down here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Pimlico landed a nicely placed pillar into learning to support, but learning to support have got a double root in return, and we're seeing Nautilus showing up on the bottom side, sitting in that tri-bush. It is pink, so he knows that he's not in vision, but he's going to be answered nonetheless by Wicked Flux. We have some action sprouting down here. Ilios V1 getting ignited, is burning dangerously low. He has the heal. Monster Truck now going down below 100 hit points. He has to flash out of the fight. Wicked Flux is flashing after him, but a heal from Star Guardian Lulu is going to keep him alive, and the hook brings Wicked Flux under the turret, but Ilios V1 is there with the damage, and Wicked Flux is not held up long enough to go down. This time it would have been for real. That's a kill back to TDC.
Alright, so that's the return kill right there. Team Doesn't Care pulls out the 3 versus 3 down in the bottom lane. And Script, he's getting dangerously low.
Thankfully for Script, Valende had not hit the level 6 mark yet, so he didn't have the execution. But I don't think Script can stick around in this lane. Yeah, that's way too dangerous.
Alright, so I figured out the issue. I'm not sure how to fix it other than a reboot of the computer, maybe in between the games. Basically, it's just not picking up any desktop audio, and it's not an OBS issue. It's just on the PC, so you can hear Octavian, even though he might be a little bit muffled. Thankfully, we have his voice at least to to keep this under control, but no sound for League of Legends, I do not believe. Unfortunate, but we're making it work.
I can just keep imitating the sound effect.
Yeah, that's yeah. Make the laser sound for me.
Oh man. Anyways, top lane's going about as I expected, but now that I say that, I glanced down at the CS numbers, and Script is doing a great job of holding his own. So maybe not quite as I expected. Valende Star is constantly pushing in, trying to deny as many opinion kills as he can, but he's not done as well a job as I thought he would. And maybe he's missed out a few CS pushing in himself because he's actually just holding straight even with the Malphite.
Yeah, it's basically the mirror of what we were talking down bottom lane, where this time it's the top laner for NSW who's winning out in the lane, shoving him in constantly, but the CS is still relatively even up there, maybe even an advantage for Script if he's able to, pick up all those minions crashing in up top lane right then. But if you check out some pings on the map, Wicked Flux, he's looking for the red buff. That's one of the side effects of knowing when these buffs spawn. It opens up the opportunity to the invade, and Wicked Flux going to be easily able to pursue that, and Monster Truck, he's just not going to be able to respond unless we find a 2 versus 2 here.
Yeah, I think we might very well find one. Thief is going to get knocked up by that elastic slingshot. He actually flashes in, though, for the 2-man ulti, but he perishes fairly quickly, and Monster Truck has no ability to clean that fight up.
Yeah, that's what you have when you bring a level 5 Nautilus to the 2 versus 2. Wicked Flux was already level 6, had the Let's Bounce, and it just wasn't even really that close. Thief getting a little bit overconfident there in the middle lane, and now the kills between the mids are all evened up. CS all evened up, but its Team Doesn't Care who has absolute control of this bottom quadrant of Monster Truck's jungle.
Script seems unbothered by Valende Star's continuous attempts to keep him down in that lane. Meanwhile, on the bottom quadrant of the map, as you were saying, we've got some vision control wars. Monster Truck is going to be landing a hook on the Katsuo, who's down to about 300 hit points. He flashes out of there preemptively, doesn't want any sort of nonsense going down, but Wicked Flux is still more than happy to go with this fight. Thief is going to get stunned up by a nicely placed gravity well, but the bottom lane is here and in force. Trundle holds up the victor against the wall and secures his death. Now Cell Division pops under the turret, and there's nowhere for these tiny bloblets to go. Thief gets a double kill.
Yeah, really questionable overstay from TDC. It looks like everything had worked out for them. They got the red buff, they got the kill in the mid lane, but just waiting to find a pick, I guess, onto Manster, but Thief had already returned to the lane. So the advantage they got, not only was it completely negated, but now Thief is 3-1. That's not what you want to be happening if you're TDC right now, because the Orianna scales so well into the later stages of the game and can absolutely control this middle lane. You already see him getting some big damage down on that mid lane turret, taking it well below half, which is only going to be able to open up the map more for Not Safe Reward.
And Katsuo is returning to quite a painful lane. Not only is it now the 3-1 Orianna, but also wielding those double buffs for a little bit longer, having killed the jungler. Katsuo's not going to have a good time of it for the next few minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that turret go down or just a large CS differential sort of materialize.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how well Thief can use this advantage. Ideally you'd want to take that advantage mid lane. If you can't get the turret, then shove out and look for some sort of roam potential. The Cloud Drake not gonna be too enticing for these two teams, so maybe not look for that. But again, that first turret gold is so impactful. So you can already see Wicked Flux playing around this middle lane, and Monster Truck, he just knows that he has to protect his mid laner, because right now Thief is absolutely crushing in this 1 versus 1.
Both junglers getting spotted out there. Both are going to clear the vision that spotted them. And it looks like NSW maybe looking for a bit of control in the bottom lane. Trundle's coming down the river. Is going to go through the tri-bush, though. Doesn't want to make anything too spicy happen.
And one thing I'm surprised about really is that there hasn't been too much aggression, in this bottom lane or in this top lane. It's been all around mid lane when we saw two really explosive lanes. Valen should have been, really crushing through Script, and now he's finally trying to trade, but he's in a 1v2.
Yeah, and I don't really think he can handle it, especially now that ultimates are available. Wicked Flux easily brings down Valen. not having the sort of explosive game we anticipated in Pick's bans, Pimlico's going to tank up that culling for his AD carry, as Thief has donated a blue buff.
Yeah, things finally starting to happen up in the top lane, but in the opposite way you might expect. When you have these aggressive lanes, Manster Truck really needs to play around his top laner, keep him safe, and they have the ward coverage to do it. He's got that pink ward, but just unable to get away from the slingshot on in, and oh, Pimlico!
There's the flash in, but the heal in response is going to nullify Ilios' attempt to finish off that kill. But if Pimlico sticks around any longer, he may be in trouble. Actually, they're going pretty aggressive here.
TP behind.
Teleport in from Valend. Star Guardian Lulu is going to be knocked up there. The two-man Let's Bounce from Wicked Flux. He's diving under the turret. He really wants to finish this off. An auto-attack will snag it for him as he flashes away. Gets a bit of healing off one of his bloblets. The Nautilus ulti's coming in. No, there's no avoiding that. And he implodes, surrounded by his team.
Yeah, 2 members go down, and Wicked Flux, he has proven time and time again he is not afraid to jump on into the fight without the rest of his team. You saw it happening, you know, behind 2 turrets mid lane earlier in the game. Then he goes under 1 in that 1 versus 2, finds the kill, ends up dropping on the back half of it all, but this guy's got absolute confidence, and his team is playing around him very, very well. It's only results in about a 1,000 gold lead, but they knock down that first turret. And once that first one goes down, open up the floodgates, because now this hugely aggressive duo lane, Lucian Zyra, is going to rotate either mid lane or top lane and look to crush down those turrets as well.
Yeah, in addition to the timing of the turrets going down, we're also seeing, coincidentally, first items are going to be completed. Ilios is picking up his Yumu's Ghostblade, such a powerful spike for that Lucian pick, whereas Star Guardian Lulu is still just sitting on pieces. So there's going to be a few minutes here where there's a real opportunity to capitalize on a sort of power spiking lead for TDC. I'm interested to see how they're going to use this. They did just lose their turn in mid lane. They actually didn't quite get first brick flood, whatever you want to call it, because Orianna did have enough pressure to take down the mid lane turret first. But that sort of leaves them open to maybe try and make a counter push themselves, or maybe Wicked Flux is just going to look for some picks. We'll have to see.
Oh, Script!
Yeah, Script doesn't have a turret to hide under anymore. The ulti's already been burned, but he's down low enough that it's not going to take much more to throw his way before he goes down. Thief gets himself a killing spree.
Yeah, and this is the punish, though. Because NSW, they took Thief top lane, they have no more wave clear, but they're getting engaged on.
Oh, and learning to support drops his ulti. Thankfully, somebody else was tanking the turret, but they didn't really need it. Zyra's pretty darn squishy. Goes down in the blink of an eye. Now, Cell Division will pop, but there's no team to help him out. So Thief picks up a rampage, and well-deserved. The guy is 5-1 at this point, looking to make it 6-1, but Valendester is there for the secure. Chasing after the victor, forces his flash over the wall.
And NSW, they are just 3 steps ahead of Team Doesn't Care every single step along the way. You know, you said they knocked down that first turret in the middle lane, and while we thought that TDC was going to be able to punish after they took that one down bottom, it was Thief, the first one to rotate into the top lane, get that down, pick up the kill onto Script. But he didn't stop there. He came straight back mid lane when TDC was looking for that turret trade, engaged straight on to learning to support, and completely start to rip this game open as the entire jungle now belongs to them.
Yeah, and generally I'd say that in the fights where NSW has been successful, they've seemed very coordinated and determined. You know, that they have a goal and they're looking to accomplish it. In the fights where TDC has seemed successful, they've been the really chaotic fights where they can just be opportunistic and make some crazy plays happen, diving and being unexpected. But whenever the gameplay is more controlled, TDC doesn't seem to know how to follow the appropriate channels.
Control really does mean consistency for NSW, and even then with Wicked Flux, he walks into 3 people. While yes, he does go for some crazy plays, they either work out really well for him, or they can go completely awry. And, you know, down bottom lane it worked, but then mid it didn't. Whereas on the other hand, NSW, every single time they go for the calm, calculated play, and they make it work. Just a matter of time. Can they get back here in time to defend this turret? They're gonna try.
Yeah, there's the depth charge coming through. Wicked Flux once again diving underneath the turret. He's down below half health before the fight even really begins. He
Oh!
was unstoppable. This Orianna is doing massive damage.
Yeah, 2-for-1 in favor of NSW when all was said and done. Thief just getting just an incredible ult right there, bursting through 2 members. Absolutely incredible stuff from him. And, you know, they're just controlling the map at the moment. They even saved that mid lane turret. That's why this fight happened. You know, TDC, they were looking to trade something back because right now they're down and out 3,000 gold, 2 turrets. The only benefit they have over NSW is that Cloud Drake, and even then, not going to provide any stats within combat itself. So, unfortunate for them that they're unable to find that turret, but they're just going straight back at it. You know, they figure if they keep pressuring hard enough, finally that turret is going to break, and it will.
I mean, it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, though. They've lost so much in the attempts to bring it down.
True.
Finally, they do, but it's really not worth it in the end. We'll see whether or not they can translate that into any further momentum as they're filtering their way through the bottom side jungle now. Maybe looking for a pick onto Manster Truck. Face checks into the wrong bush, and he's going to be evaporated relatively quickly.
Yeah, a little bit too early for a pick if they wanted to turn that into some sort of dragon. There's an Infernal coming up next, so that'll be highly prized between these 2 teams. Thankfully for NSW, Manster will be back up and ready to fight when that happens. But if TDC can find a pick right here onto Pimlico,
they may have one. The gravity wall will pull him back. He's getting bursted pretty quick. He's going to flash out of the chaos.
oh!
After it. Meanwhile, though, Thief is dominating with another well-placed Orianna ult. These shockwaves have been on point. Valende Stirs once again cut off from his team, but he's okay. He's got a turret to keep him safe. And that'll be a 1-for-1 trade overall, considering that earlier pick. Valende is teleporting topside, though. He's going to be applying some pressure, and TDC, they're running around with like a chicken with their head cut off. They're going to go for the red buff here.
I don't know. I feel like this is actually a mistake. I don't know. This is getting rough.
There's the hard engage, the Nautilus ulti, followed up by a Sivir ulti. The hook lands onto Ilios. Manster Truck wants some revenge for his earlier gap. Face checking into that bush. Katsuo is going to be the target, and he will fall quite quickly. Wicked Flux is looking to try and peel for his team, but Thief is godlike with an enhanced auto attack. And Script 2G, I don't really think there's much a Malphite can do surrounded by 4 people with this much CC. Yes, Star Guardian Lulu is low. Yes, he's almost dead, but Script 2G just can't finish it off. And they'll probably be able to finish him off.
I don't understand what TDC was trying to accomplish there, because Valende, he TP's top, but what does that mean? That means that NSW is in a 4 versus 5 and Ilios!
No, the auto went onto the Zyra!
Oh, that was so close. Ilios getting out with just a sliver. But, you know, even though they don't pick up the kill, they're going to find this Infernal Drake. That's what I was talking about. Valende, he teleported top, which left his team in an unfavorable position. But what TDC did was they recalled 2 members, all of a sudden turning that 4 versus 5 into a 4 versus 3 in the favor of not safe for ward, and they lose the objective they so desperately desired. That Infernal Drake going over to the hands of NSW with 3 big carries. Valende's gonna love it, Thief is gonna love it, and so is Star Guardian Lulu.
I mean, that's why they recalled, though. That's why they were at a man disadvantage, because they were trying desperately to save the secondary turret top, and they couldn't even hold on to that. Valende was given too much free time up there. Now they're going to lose an outer turret bot. There's no chance they hold this. No chance in hell. And they're just bleeding objectives left and right. And it's because, oddly enough, of just really aggressive play. They're constantly in the opponent's jungle, and that's leaving them open across the rest of the map.
Right, it's the snowball effect I was talking about. I was talking about how not safe for ward, they're always, you know, just that extra step ahead over Team Doesn't Care. So even though, you know, they make the proactive plays, TDC tries to react, but by that time, not safe for ward, they've already found some advantage on the opposite side of the map, and they themselves have time to respond to the, you know, reaction from Team Doesn't Care, and now they're going to be the ones, you know, trying to force TDC off this turret, and they're going for the fight.
They have to know they're being flanked on here. Monster Truck is coming in from the side. Katsuo is going to be the one getting caught. He flashes out to relative safety. Script 2G and Wicked Flux now. The 2 tanks are in the enemy team, but they've got no backup whatsoever. Valende Stir is going to finish him off with a big chunk of true damage. Monster Truck does fall tank for tank so far, but it looks like NSFW are the ones coming out pretty darn far ahead here in the tank trades.
Monster Truck just being an absolute man. Yes, he goes down, but he zones the entire enemy backline. Katsuo, Ilias, and learning to support. They were all focusing down Manster, who did his job. He zoned, you know, those members so that Not Safe for Ward, they could focus down Script 2G, turn that pick into yet another kill onto Katsuo. Now they're on this top inhibitor turret.
Quite a bit of pressure nonetheless.
It's still early on in this game, right?
Actually, there's an ulti. Not quite as good as some of the previous ultis we've seen from Thief.
Yeah, he's reaching for him now. He's confident. He's 8-1. You know, you can afford to throw those out because they've got such a lead, and you know they can't knock down these inhibitor turrets just yet. But it's only 23 minutes in, and they already are completely in control of this game. They've got the strong split pusher. They've got the stronger team fight as of now, and they definitely have the stronger members of their team. 8-1-6 Orianna. The gold is absolutely where it needs to be. And, you know, Star Guardian Lulu, granted, he probably wishes he had more than one kill to his name, but 11 assists is not too shabby either.
He's just a big fan of the number 1 right there, that KDA. He's stacked up.
That's true.
But on a more serious note, what do you do if your team doesn't care here? You know, they're behind for sure, and if things keep going at this trend, they may very well lose just in the next 10 minutes. But I don't think they're so far behind that they're out of this match entirely. How do they get back into it?
Well, you have, you know, some pretty impressive late game scaling. The Zyra support is going to do a ton of damage in the late game, but you can't get picked like this, Script.
Yeah, Script caught out at the front of the fight here. The heal is going to ferry him to safety, but that's a summoner burned there. Not really traded for too very much. Ultimate's still entirely available for NSW.
Anyways, going back to that point, though, you know, TDC, they have some really nice wave clear, okay? I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now because Thief is so strong, but, you know, Katsuo can continue to clear away these waves, and they have some options in the late game. They've got a really strong team fight composition that they've put together. It's just that they're too weak right now to actually, you know, stand up against Not Safe for Ward in the 5 versus 5. So just, you know, stall this game out for another 10-15 minutes, and there's always going to be a world in which your team can win. When death timers get up to 70 or so seconds, just one pick can completely flip the game around. It's just a game of survival now for TDC. How long can they stall out? How long can they hold on?
How long can they continue to avoid those anchors being tossed their way? Monster Truck is just itching for a fight right now. And they're going to just keep rotating around, shove up the mid lane, go grab some vision control. It looks like they want to steal away a blue buff as Thief is leading the charge over there.
Ooh, Katsuo got it.
By Katsuo, though. Nice steal. Thief is flashing in. He wants that blue buff. He wants revenge, and he's going to find it. He's a legendary as he flashes forward for the kill into Katsuo. Valendester finishes off the rock. And that's a 2-0 trade. Might even be more as Monster Truck is continuing to chase forward. A beautiful hook on the learning to support. He bent that thing around the corner. Thief is legendary.
Oh, Monster Truck, that was absolutely gorgeous. You know, I'm not a real believer in the Nautilus jungle, but, you know, he's making a serious case for it right here. Just being that huge, gigantic frontliner that cannot be cut down, and then he's landing these ridiculous hooks. I mean, that's all you gotta do, right? As a jungler, it's doing his job. He's finding the picks, he's soaking up all the damage, and he's continuing to advance the pace of this game. They knock down that first inhibitor, and it's not gonna be long before they pressure down the second.
Yeah, there's a 3-man knockout from Wicked Flux, though, followed up by the 2-man Unstoppable Force, but they just got no backup to help him out. Ilias is diving into the back lines. He manages to find the Sivir. At what cost, however? He may just be trading 1-for-1 here as the dot brings him down. Katsuo has shown up, and he is looking for a fight himself. Chaos Storm comes down doing some good ticking damage, but it's actually not chasing after anybody. He's just holding it in place. He's flashing forwards now. Pimlico is down below half health and still wreaking havoc at the back line. Orianna has shown up.
Oh!
House, double kill. Television comes down, and with nothing else around him, the Zac will surely fall.
Kill after kill after kill. Thief turning that one completely around in the face of Team Doesn't Care. I really hope they don't care right now and they can, bounce back for the second game, because things are just not going as planned for them. Down 10,000 gold, just 27 minutes into this. I don't think there's a world in which you let Thief have this Orianna back again, because he has more than half his team's kills. He has all of the gold, all of the power, and he's doing his complete job here, carrying this game.
Yeah, and that fight in particular was just a disaster waiting to happen, because they invested so much on killing the Sivir, killing the Trundle, or trying to kill the Trundle and the Nautilus. They had nothing left in the tank to even glance at Orianna when she showed up, and Thief is everything right now. So as soon as Orianna showed up, the fight was over. Triple kill, and a well-deserved one as he cleans that one up.
And the unfortunate reality of the Drake RNG is that team doesn't care. When they were able to get their one, they got a Cloud Drake. Now when Not Safe for Ward are ahead, they get 2 Infernals in a row. Team doesn't care. Just saying thanks, Riot, for that one. Can't even find an advantage in the one Drake they can get.
Cloud Drake is fine.
It's not as nice as an Infernal Drake. That's a lot of damage.
Freak told me that Cloud Drake is just as good as the other Drakes. And Freak would never lie to me.
Yeah, well, Star Guardian Lulu has 729 AP, so you might want to rethink that after getting double Infernal. That's a lot of damage right there.
But you can't use the damage if they can't hit you.
But once they hit you with even a little bit, the Cloud Drake goes away.
Just dodge everything. I don't see how...
You know what? You're absolutely right. If you're a pro player, then you should be able to dodge everything. But here they're learning fives. Oh!
The 50-50, but the smite goes over to the Nautilus, and Wicked Flux is now caught off and alone. Left to dry by his team. Good attempt, friend. But we never knew you. We're just going to go ahead and head on home back to base. Hope you don't mind. A 3-man binding. Nicely done, but... apparently, Thief is looking to weed the garden a little bit and pulls Zyra up by her roots.
Yeah, good night, Sweet Prince. Learning to support just disappears in a full combo from Thief. That's 100-0 right there, and Ilios, he's in trouble.
Does, dash away before the knockup can land, so the hook doesn't connect, but, it's a bit of a feeble effort when thrown up against the absolute power that is being wielded from NSW. That's going to be GG. Game 1 going over to NSFW.
Yeah, really nice game from them, finishing that one off up 14,000 gold, 15-1-10 on the Orianna. I don't think it gets much better than that, just absolutely tearing through the lineup of TDC. Now, usually we'd like to talk a little bit more about the game, but I'm going to go ahead and reset this stream. We'll be back in, just a few minutes as we try and fix this audio issue, find out exactly what's going on here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes with hopefully some better audio quality for you guys.